Good afternoon. My name is Niko House, host of the political radio show Mi Casa es Su Casa. You can catch my radio show at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, 4 p.m. Pacific here on YouTube, on Facebook Live, or on awakeradio.us. And you can go to my Facebook page at Niko D House on my public figure page on Facebook, and I'll drop a link below. That show can be caught on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, I am reporting to you all to essentially convey my absolute disgust for Governor Snyder of the state of Michigan. This man has the unmitigated gall to allocate $1.5 million to defend himself in the explicitly criminal act of poisoning the water of Flint, Michigan. Not only has he poisoned the water of Flint, Michigan, because yes, he has approved it, but he's been escaping and dodging any legal penalty since 2014, ladies and gentlemen. And what's even more disturbing about this is, one, the federal government has failed to do absolutely anything, even up until this point. The lawsuit finally came through from local legal associates in Michigan. Barack Obama has absolutely failed us on this mission. The Hillary Clinton claimed that she was going to take care of Michigan and Flint when she went there during the primaries, completely abandoned them during the general election, never going back to Michigan. Obviously, Donald Trump talks about bringing back jobs to Michigan, but has completely avoided the conversation regarding Flint and has never showed any intention on helping to assist the problems that Flint, Michigan has. And I think what's crazier about this entire thing is that Snyder allocated $1.5 million for legal services to defend himself, taking it from taxpayers' dollars, the same taxpayers that he poisoned, the same taxpayers of whom Michigan shut off their water supply because it cost too much. It was costing people money just to make their water somewhat safe through buying filtration mechanisms, just trying to purify the water through whatever means they can, and having to constantly buy new filters almost monthly, because the water would corrode the filters and they would ultimately become useless. And therefore, after spending this money that they obviously hadn't allocated to their budget, they couldn't afford to pay certain bills. And in my mind, like I believe most Americans' minds, if you're not able to use your water or drink your water, you shouldn't have to pay for it. And of course, that is not how Michigan felt, because they shut off their water supply, did not correct any of the issues that was going on with the water up until this point, still today. And now those same taxpayers are paying $1.5 million in legal services to help Governor Snyder get out of this mess that he put himself in. Even in Detroit, there was another $500,000 allocated to legal services for battles that he is fighting there as well. And I think what's insane about this to me is that nobody in the federal government is stepping up and doing anything about this gross misconduct. It's completely irresponsible, and ethically, Governor Snyder is morally bankrupt. The government, this legislature of Michigan, is morally bankrupt. In fact, if we look at a study that was conducted by the the Center for Public Integrity and Global Integrity, Michigan actually ranks last on transparency and law ethics. Last. Everything about this state, everything about that governor, everything about that legislature is corrupt and has 100% always been about money. This is the same man who claimed that he signed a bill for motorcycle operating laws to increase the fine for driving without a license on a motorcycle from $100 to $500 because he wanted to keep drivers on the road safe. If you were that concerned about safety, Governor Snyder, how about you make sure that kids aren't dying from lead poisoning? That people can afford. I visited Flint, Michigan, and someone couldn't even afford to re-roof his house after it was destroyed because the houses are simply not worth it anymore. Nobody's buying a house in Flint, Michigan. So re-roofing your house, which will cost thousands of dollars, is actually the roof of your re-roofing your house would cost more than selling your house. It's absolutely unacceptable. You claim you want to keep drivers safe, but you can't even keep drinkers of a natural resource safe. You don't even want to keep the water clean of the drivers of the road that you're trying to keep safe. It's all about money. If you know anything about Michigan, this state is absolutely corrupt. From legal bribery, when police officers pull you over, they can pull you over for just about anything. If they decide that they want to take you to jail that day, they ask you to give them $100 for bail so that you don't go to jail right then and there once they pull you over. They have fines such as a fine that you normally accrue when you get pulled over for a speeding ticket or driving without a license and driving with a suspended license. They have fines that spill over called responsible driving fines. And these fines are actually separate from the fines in the cases that you would get if you were just simply pulled over for speeding. You actually have to get a lawyer and hire them to deal with both of these cases. And because of that, this has been described by some attorneys in Michigan as martial law for the poor. There's hundreds of millions of dollars in fines for Michigan, and less than half of that is actually paid by those who incur these fines. And because of that, at least half of those people are driving with a suspended license or are limited to their household or driving in fear every day that they could be taken to jail and their livelihood would be taken away from them because they would not be able to get back and forth to work, which means they would not be able to obviously get their salaries and put in the hours that you need to maintain a healthy household and a healthy home. Michigan is horrendous right now, and I feel for the people living there. The United Nations actually got involved earlier this year, and they pointed out something that I've been saying constantly, and it's a pattern that we have seen continuously in America, and especially in Republican-dominated states like Michigan. It said decisions like this would never have been made in the high-handed and cavalier manner that occurred in Flint if the affected population group was well off or overwhelmingly white, said Philip Alston, a United Nations Special Rapporteur on extreme poverty and human rights. And let's be very clear, America has definitely shown us this year that is the case. We can look at North Dakota, for example. Bismarck, the North Dakota Access Pipeline, was supposed to be built through Bismarck, North Dakota. However, the white people, and mostly white population and pretty well-off population of Bismarck, had decided that it did not want the North Dakota Access Pipeline to go through there because it would, probably contaminate their water sources and and contaminate the town potentially if there was a leak. And of course, where did it get pushed to? Off to the indigenous who cannot defend themselves and who are told that eminent domain gives the government the right to steal their land to build an access pipeline, when we all know that is not the case. The government does not need this pipeline. It's private corporations and interests. This pipeline doesn't even serve for the interests of the United States. It actually serves for foreign interests, and that is who will primarily be making the money off of this pipeline and primarily benefiting from it. So that's just one clear example of how impoverished communities or minority-dominated communities are taken advantage of and are essentially pushed to the wayside by those who do not wish to piss off rich, white, elitist interests. And whether, no matter what race you are, white, black, Latino, whatever, we can all agree. The numbers show that this is factual. And the fact that the United Nations has had to get involved in a crisis that has overwhelmingly afflicted poor people and minorities, and President Obama, who himself is a minority, claims to be a champion of poverty, of the impoverished and the working class, has essentially sat silent, while Hillary Clinton has defended the governor and stood by him. There's only been few, like Bernie Sanders, like Jill Stein, like Nina Turner, like Tulsi, and a few others, that have come out and spoken against this and called it what it is. This man should be in jail for a very, very long time. There is no cure for lead poisoning. There is almost no limit to the damage that lead poisoning can do to the body, especially the brain of a child. I've witnessed it. I went to Flint, Michigan. I saw it, and I was almost in tears from sadness and anger and angst, because you feel like you can almost do nothing about it. That $1.5 million could have been used to take bottles of water door to door, which should have been personally delivered by Governor Snyder, considering that he was the governor who personally signed off on the demise of an entire community that has been dealing with this water crisis for 3 years now. It is absolutely sickening. Please share this video. If you have any information, I advise you to comment below. Leave your opinion. You know, let's talk about this. Let's come up with solutions together, because it's difficult to come up with solutions outside of delivering water door to door, specifically because, as you all know, like I said, the filtration devices are not meant to deal with water that is this corrosive. It is that bad. I was watching videos of a woman who had to throw away her water machine or her washing machine because the water destroyed it. People have to throw away pipes because the water that they were running through the pipes destroyed it, corroded it. It's no longer useful. Governor Rick Snyder needs to be dealt with swiftly under full penalty of the law. And the people of Flint, Michigan, for the damage that has been done to them personally, health-wise, the damage that has been done to their property and livelihood, should absolutely sue the local government and sue the federal government for allowing this to happen. The federal government stepping in here would not have been a governmental overreach. Water is a fundamental human right. Water is literally life. It makes up most of this planet. It makes up our bodies. Every single person needs H2O to live. And the fact that this governor and the state legislature has allowed this to take place lets you know where poor people and minorities stand on the scale of importance. Please like and subscribe. Watch my other videos as well. I will be talking a little bit more about this on my radio show tomorrow. That will be broadcasted here live on YouTube, and like I said, on Facebook Live and awakeradio.us. Please share this video and let's see if we can do something about this. Have a good day.